Nikki, mom to infants, co-founder Matchmaker. Are you good?
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good. I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, you are. Hi, Nikki.
Well, hi.
Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Claire.
I'm so excited for you to shed all your matchmaking wisdom with us.
Thank you. I hope it's everything that you want and more.
I'm sure it is from our brief conversations that we've had. So, you're a matchmaker. You are the matchmaker.
Evidently.
You set up people and you have a pretty high success rate. Have you ever not had success?
I can count in the last 14 years two people I felt really unsuccessful with, but I realized that they didn't need a matchmaker. They needed something else.
Okay.
Yeah. But so I recount those times and I'm like, that's 2 times.
2 times. Out of how many other couples have you put together?
Hundreds.
And are most of them still together?
Well, I mean, thousands, actually, if we think about it. But I guess of the people who have stayed together, we're in the tens to hundreds.
Wow. I am a terrible matchmaker because I kind of just like throw people together and love the spontaneity of it all.
Yeah.
I don't think of it from like a curated perspective as I probably should. My sister-in-law set me up with my husband. So she's a good matchmaker. She doesn't do it professionally. Why did you get into this line of business?
This was not a natural calling for me. I think that's probably an unusual calling for anyone to have. I was living in New York. I'd gone to NYU, and on the cusp of graduation, I thought I got to start sending my resume out. And I sent it to someone who I wished to emulate in my professional career. Her name was Greta. She was the it girl of New York, and I wanted to be like her. And I couldn't believe that she wanted to meet me for coffee. And she said, so, I'm not doing PR anymore. I have this crazy idea, and I need a recent, eager college grad to help me launch it off the ground. And it's matchmaking. And I was like, I don't think my parents are going to be cool with this. But, like, it was so nice meeting you. And, like, good luck. And she's like, no, listen to me. She had been at this dinner party in the West Village, and this man had been talking about how he had been the client of a couple matchmakers in the city and described them as these, like, not terribly sophisticated mother-in-law types, didn't have access to the types of people he's wanting to meet. But he's looking at Greta at this party. And she was 30, leggy, smart, gorgeous, really cool. He's like, I would kill to have someone like you doing this for me. And that was really the light bulb moment. So Greta started to develop the business model. She hired me.
Wow.
And even just within the first months, our Rolodex were people who were case studies at Harvard Business School, Wharton. I was like, okay, I guess I'm not going to business school. This is my business school.
Wow, that's so fun.
Yeah.
And 14 years later,
we're still kicking it.
You're still kicking it.
Yeah.
Is it fun?
It's so fun. It's become a compulsion. I'm sick in the head. I'm sick in the head, Claire. I keep a notepad on my nightstand and I dream about my clients.
You do?
Sick. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed.
You want them to be happy.
It's so rewarding when you are already working with the most particular, specific set of humans. These are not normal humans. These are the most successful, smartest people on the face of the planet.
The ones that are engaging you.
Yes. And they believe that I am smarter at something than them. And I want to prove them right.
Maybe more connected.
Something that they don't have the time to really focus on.
That's so great.
Yeah.
So what do you find? Tell me about the people that you're putting together and what makes them successful, what makes them unsuccessful in finding their soulmate or their match.
Sure. I think what's unique about my business model is that, first off, we've never advertised ever. Everyone's referral based. There's already a really close-knit familial quality to my entire membership where you're only a few arms length away from someone else. That's really unique and interesting in a matchmaking sphere where, you're getting any Tom, Dick, or Harry writing in from off the streets. This is not that. So you're already working with a certain caliber of person. So that's, there's such a unique closeness and bond that I have with my clients as a result. If I haven't invited them over to my home for dinner yet, I certainly plan on it. And that's really nice. And the women are also referred by friends of friends, friends of friends of friends.
Right.
As you know.
Right.
So
I've connected you with a few ladies.
Exactly.
That you already knew about, too.
It's odd if I don't know somebody yet.
Right.
I've started to realize.
Who's eligible.
Who's eligible. Well, yes, we're, and certainly at this point of our careers, we are so incredibly focused on who we're accepting to be clients in the first place. And these are really people who are top of their fields in so many aspects of their lives. And this is really the cherry on top.
And you feel like these successful people are happy or they're looking for happiness through you?
I tell my clients that I should not be the sole proprietor of your happiness. That is way too much to put onto one person. You need to be a well-rounded person in your life and think about this as, wouldn't life be so much better with this person? But my sole happiness doesn't ride on this, and it's not life or death because I'm not curing cancer. That's the truth. But it can make life so much richer and so much happier. So it's something that we all innately crave and want.
So are you successful with relaying that advice to them? Does it permeate? Because it sounds like these people have focused on success for so long that maybe they lost their personal life or lost their connection with their mate. So a divorce happened or a separation happened, which is normal and forgivable. And then they're looking to find it again. I feel like nothing is a quick fix. Nothing is an easy fix. You have to do the work yourself to really be the person you want to be and be with the person that you want to be.
Yeah.
While people are engaging you to do the work for them, you must tell them that they need to do the work prior as well.
That's a really interesting question. I'd say just most of the clients who come to me anyways already have done that work because these are people who believe in delegating certain aspects of their lives to professionals. And if you think about it, if you can afford to do that, it makes a lot of sense. So, you already have your personal trainer. You already have your life coach. You already have your therapist. You've already kind of figured all this other stuff out. But this is the last thing to figure out. So, they can come in with all these things that they think are important to them, and then we get to the meat of it, and we're going to figure out how much is that necessary, and let's really dig into this.
Did you matchmake yourself with your husband?
Oh my gosh. Well, that would be a really sexy story if he had been a client of mine.
Right.
I always joke that he can't afford me. No, we met at a bar. Who does that anymore?
You, apparently.
Everybody.
A lot of people do that.
It was great. It was 2015 and we were both living in New York, and my husband is preposterously tall. And I was with a friend of mine and I was like, that guy is tall. And my friend Mark says, that's Clark. I know that guy. Let's go talk to him. That was it.
Oh, wow.
So we had a lot of mutual friends. It wasn't totally random. And
that's so cool. And that's a serendipitous, unlike your line of work.
Being in the right place at the right time. Yeah. But it wasn't met with the right timing. He was actually seeing somebody, and he hadn't followed up with me until months after.
Wow.
So we'd run into each other at Art Basel, and I was like, this guy, he never got my number, but I know he was asking my friend about me. And so he'd been seeing someone and it ended, and here we were.
You said something earlier that most people that you engage have to get out of their own way. Can you tell me more about that? Because I feel like we're all, to a certain degree, as human beings in our own way, in some category, be it whatever, So
Totally.
What do you mean? How? Tell me more.
Yeah, I think it's totally right to be particular. In most cases, you've earned that. But I think sometimes you're focusing on things that don't really matter. And I say this to my clients, who come in with A, B, C, D, E, F of this is all the criteria that has to check. And I say, well, I can give you all of these things, but if there's no chemistry, you're not going to care. And if I give you chemistry, all those other things fly out the window.
Totally.
So we need to meet somewhere in the middle, and we need to figure out the most crucial elements, because otherwise you're not letting me do my job. You're not letting me do what I know works. So I have some clients who will say, all right, let's start with my way. And then if we're not getting enough hits or it's not working, I'll try out your method. And then I'm like, thank goodness. Now I can show you what I'm made out of, and I can do what you've hired me to do.
Wow. Okay. So basically they're just, the women are asking for a tall, handsome credit card, and the men are asking for, if they're straight, a small waist and, someone who's 19.
At a baseline, Claire. These are really particular people, but it's, of course I'll get a guy coming in saying, hey, yeah, I want her to be 25. And she should
and how
look
how
like
old
a
are they?
supermodel.
55.
Sure. And then by the time they're done with me,
60.
they're engaged to a 47-year-old, Yale graduate, and they're over the moon because, it's I think.
Oh, that's great.
But not necessarily. And to be honest, yes, my clients are particular, but I'm only working with clients who are looking the right thing.
Right.
So of course they're not coming to, these men are self-actualized enough to know, like, yes, if you are the most awesome person in the world, you do deserve a 25-year-old supermodel who's also curing cancer. And I can do that. That's the needle in the haystack.
They might not have the wisdom, the life wisdom that you want to be in bed with every night and every morning.
It's going to work for some people. It's not going to work for other people. Yeah. But I would rather start out with giving my client what they've asked me for
to show that it doesn't work.
To show a point. Because I am not in the business of telling my client that what they're looking for is wrong, because it might not be. It might really work, and they might be really happy. But if we keep doing things the same way and expecting a different result, that's Einstein's definition of insanity. We got to pivot. We need to use this feedback, use this data, and pivot, even sometimes ever so slightly, to just open up the prism. If you drive Audis your whole life, you're going to want to get an Audi to keep driving, but you never tried the Mercedes, and it might be better, different, but maybe better than what you had with the Audi. This is like a terrible analogy. But
so you're constantly learning because everybody's different. Yes. What pieces of wisdom can you give the audience regarding your growth as a person in this journey of matchmaking?
Don't waver from your gut instinct. Don't do it. Stick to your business model. It's really enticing to take a deal or take a client or take an opportunity that isn't going to serve you in the long run because it's a shiny, pretty thing. Do it. Don't do it. Stick to your gut. Stick to what works. Don't work with people who are not genuine, who aren't looking for the right things, and who are not kind. Those 2 clients I told you that I was unsuccessful with, they weren't any of those things. And that's how I know I'll be successful. Is someone kind? Are they genuine? Are they looking for the right things? And are they willing to accept that maybe they can be doing a better job and that they're going to listen to what I have to say?
So even those 2 people that you were unsuccessful with to a certain degree, because I'm sure you're only successful, you're a very engaged person. even though they were looking for such peripheral things and they might have been only acting peripherally, they couldn't even find someone who was peripherally a match because,
well, they did. I
But it
was
fizzled
able
out.
to give them everything that they asked for. But what they weren't able to realize was that what they wanted for themselves wasn't interested in them.
got it.
If they can't get to that point of actualization, there's not much more I can do.
Right. Now, a lot of my friends are single. Wonderful, beautiful, smart, incredible. I would be married to them if I was a lesbian. I would. And I'm
Send them my
not.
way.
I have sent a couple to you.
Yeah.
And you're starting to engage or re-engage. And I have told them, because much like you, I'm the person that gives the advice that you don't want to hear.
Sure.
I tell them, it's your choice to be single. And they tell me, fuck you. Sorry, maybe you can bleep that out, editor. And I say, it's the truth. It's my truth. Because I see you out there making the wrong decisions all the time. Choosing someone who's not available when you want someone to be available. And then and telling me, oh, well, maybe it's going to be fine for now.
The difference. I can change him.
And, he's never going to change. I'm never going to change. We're just casual. And then 6 months later, you're in love with him. And you're flying to wherever you're flying. I'm not going to give the location because then the person listening is going to know who I'm talking about. But I just feel like it's a choice. Your life is a choice, especially when you're given wherewithal and you have the opportunity to go out there. And I understand people don't have good luck. I didn't. And then I thought to myself, I'm going to get sober. I'm going to make life decisions. I'm going to change my life so that I can be the person that I want to date. And I can be the person that my partner wants to be with. And I'm going to really clean up my act and start saving money and doing all the super things that are hard for me to do. So,
and it worked.
It really worked. But I really believe in the power of manifesting, in the power of walking through the fire of the trauma so that you can be on the other side and not feel that trauma all day long. Like
Sure.
Talking about it so you can get rid of it, or feeling it and shaking in your boots so that you can get rid of it.
You became the best version of yourself.
I mean, it's an everyday affair, right?
It's ever evolving. But in that point, you had done a lot of work to make yourself available to meeting the most exceptional person that you could. And you did.
I did. I really did. And I've told people, like, I preach about this because I really believe that anyone, if you really want someone, especially and you have the credentials and are my friends, the people that I choose to hang out with, it's possible. More than possible. So what can you tell the audience and the listeners?
Yeah.
How can they feel good about themselves, prep themselves? What is the work? How do they do the work? Just a little, how can they shift their mind every day to kind of be that magnet?
Totally. I think a lot of it is a headspace. Get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your own
What does that
way.
mean? What does that mean?
Get out into the world. Stop punching behind a book or a computer and hiding behind doing action. I'm a very action-driven person. So read as many self-help books as you want.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the gym. Get a stylist. Do things that are going to help represent you in a better way so that you are looking great and you're feeling great, but put it into action. Don't doom scroll on an app and, say, this person's not hot enough. Oh, I like them in this picture, but not this picture. Go sign up for those tennis classes. Go grab a girlfriend and go on that trip that you've always wanted to go on. Say yes to the person who you are really not sure about, and give that person a second date. Maybe even give that person a third date, because I can't tell you, Claire, how many second dates I have urged people to go on where I say, if it's not a no, it could be the rest of your life. So go on a second date and see what happens. kids. And we've had marriages result in that way.
That's so beautiful.
Just because you're your own worst enemy in this. You know, when you're working with me, it's that mirror you can't look away from. You got to listen, and you're going to see where you're stopping yourself short.
Right. So when you say don't bury yourself in your life, be engaged in your life. So you can whip up that magic and that storm with that
When
trip,
you're
even if
at
you don't
the
meet that
bar,
person.
Put
Right.
your phone away.
Yeah.
Be present.
Yeah.
Strike a conversation with a man or woman next to you,
Right.
because maybe they know somebody.
Right. Just be open to the world.
Be open.
Do you also think it comes down to a little bit of like knowing and believing? I believe my person's out there. I know I'm going to be with whoever I want to be. Do you see more success with people that really feel like that versus the people that are pessimistic and have thrown in the towel?
Again, action driven.
Doesn't
you
even
can't
matter. Okay.
expect me to manufacture the person human for you. And you can't expect that magical person is going to fall out of the sky and land right in front of you. So like, you can manifest all these lists and write down all these things that matter to you, much like I internally did before I met my husband. And you know what? He wasn't anything that I had written down.
Oh, really?
And he is so much better because
Because you didn't.
I had no idea.
Mhm.
There
Oh.
were certain things that weren't on my list. I didn't put patient. I didn't put wonderful dad.
Yeah, those are important things.
I didn't put kind. That wasn't even on there.
What?
Yeah. Like, what even was my list? It was so superficial.
Okay.
Realize that you
Thank
can
God
be,
for Clark.
I love that man.
Oh my God.
And he deals with me. I'm a lot.
No, you're not.
You know what? It's like that scene, Nobody Wants This. And he's like, I can handle you. And I was like, Clark, that's so you. So you.
That's adorable.
Yeah.
So you've met a lot of successful people because you're expensive. So to engage you, they need to make money. What is your version of inner success?
I think for me, that's changed over the years, right? Because when I first started, make as much money as possible.
Mhm.
I quickly realized that that's not what success was in the scope of this business. The success was the caliber of the clients that I worked with, and
Okay.
not believing that these were the people that I talked to every week. And these are, household names. These are people who you learn about in school or read about in the paper, and they need me for something. That's when I knew, at least from a business perspective, that I was a success. Because I have so much to learn from these people.
Mhm.
And that's cool. I think in a personal level, inner success is being fulfilled in all the roles that mean something to me. Being a mom to my 4-month-old and my 2-year-old, being a great wife to Clark, being a sister, being a daughter, being a philanthropist, being a matchmaker, just feeling like I'm a friend, feeling like I'm really fulfilled and committing to all those roles.
When you have that twinge of doubt, how do you come back to that pillar of self-confidence, especially when you're around celebrities and household names and you're matchmaking them and making it all happen? How do you kind of stand in your truth and sit at the table?
It took a long time to get there because I think anyone with any kind of moral compass doubts themselves. Am I faking this? Am I actually good at this? Or is this a facade and I'm hiding behind it? No, I think I realized, certainly within the last decade, no, I stick to my guns and let me do my job.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me what to do. I'll get you there, but you need to put some confidence and faith into me.
That's great.
Just let me do my job.
Yeah.
When I'm getting hair and makeup done, I'm saying, you know this better than I do. So just do what you think. You're the professional in this.
That's
I'm
what
not.
I say too.
Let
But
the
then it
professionals
went a
do
little
their
bit
job.
wrong today, but that's okay.
You look stunning. You look perfect.
Thanks.
So yeah, so like focus on what you're good at. And most of my clients do a very good job of doing this. You know, they're focused on like saving the world,
Yeah.
climbing K2 without oxygen, and then, you know, flying to Ukraine to save people. But that's all in a day's work. And then they let me do my job because they don't have the time to do it. So I'm like, thank you for trusting me and giving me this opportunity.
Do you really think you can delegate, you know, soulmate matching?
Well, no, they have to show
matchmaking?
up. They have to show up. Isn't that most of the battle? Show up. I'll do the legwork and the behind the scenes.
Do you get to go to the first dates?
I wish. I joke with my clients, I'm going incognito. I'm going to wear like little eyeglasses and a mustache and a top hat and just like be smoking a cigar in the corner. No, I wish, but I do collect feedback after the first date, which is really kind of cool because you don't get that in normal dating life. You just kind of get ghosted and you wonder why.
Oh, right.
So with something like this, you can't look away from the feedback. If there's anything, you know, if you talked about your ex the whole time, I'm going to find out.
Oh my gosh, amateur hour.
Yeah.
Amateur hour.
We had a client this past week who I guess someone really beautiful had walked into the restaurant. He was like slack-jawed staring at her for like half the date.
Fired.
Fired. It's like, what are you doing? Focus. Fired. But really, really funny. I actually, a friend of mine, I introduced her to her husband, and she was so close to canceling the date. She said, Nikki, I found his LinkedIn, because I don't share photos. I found his LinkedIn. Is this him? Is this really what you think of me, Nikki? And I was like, he's cute. Don't trust a man who takes really great selfies of himself, first of all.
100%.
100%. And like, that's a terrible picture. And I do think very highly of you and just go, damn it. She's like, fine, but I'm really doing this for you. Yeah, you're really doing this for me. I'm married for 10 years with 2 adorable babies. Doing it for me.
Oh my gosh, you've put together a lot of people.
Oh, so many.
That's so fun. Okay, so you get feedback after the first date. And then if they want to go on a second date, do you get to go?
No, but I've
You
had
never
dinner.
get to go.
I mean, I'll have dinner. You know, I really befriend a lot of my clients and their spouses because it's like such a fun,
Once they're together.
fun story. And we'll always laugh about, you know, the inception stages and how the second date was almost not going to happen, but I really had to talk him into it because you were wearing man repeller clothes and he's more of a jeans and t-shirt kind of a guy. Like, it's so...
I know. My best friend goes to every date with the turtleneck on. I'm like, babe,
No.
this is not a nunnery. My husband's like, Chelsea, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to call her out. Take the turtleneck off.
Good.
She's so hot and her body. And I'm just like, show the bod a little bit.
You need to. Men are visual creatures and men know within the first 5 seconds if they're attracted to you or not. And
So
women...
do women.
No! Women know within the first 5 dates.
I don't know about that.
When they say that one thing that suddenly changes your whole perception, maybe not 5 dates, let's call it like 3. They say that thing or they really listen to you and on the next date they brought you something that they're thoughtful. Like there's always that changing point for women where men are kind of like they already know.
So I knew the first night I met my husband, he was turning around towards the front door. He came to my cousin's place on the Upper West Side to pick me up. We were being set up.
Yeah.
And he turned around and I was sitting on the steps putting my boots on and I saw his butt from the back of his jeans. And I thought to myself, that is the butt of my children. I'm not kidding.
What?
Not in like a sexual way. It was just like it was like seeing all the stars align. Listen, I have 3 kids. They all have Greg's butt. I'm not kidding you. We joke
You
about it today.
manifested that.
I mean, I don't know what I manifested, but some butts.
That's funny.
Isn't that funny?
That's really funny.
I'm very visual. My mother was an artist and my dad's an art dealer. I don't like practice my visual creativity enough. You know, like I don't really, it's like hard for me to get dressed and stuff.
You're creative in other ways.
Yeah. But I'm visual with people and their jeans.
That's so funny. Will you take me jeans shopping?
No, like jeans, like DNA.
But I want my butt to look good in jeans.
Yes, I will take you jean shopping.
Like your husband's.
You're 4 months postpartum. You need no help. Zero.
You're very sweet.
Negative
but
help.
My jeans don't fit me.
They will in 5 minutes.
I really hope so. I hope you're right. I'm manifesting that. That's what I am manifesting.
So what are you manifesting? You're 4 months postpartum. You're working a ton. Are you allowed to tell us if the men only engage or the women too? Like, who hires you?
Oh, that's a really important question.
I mean, I was trying to avoid it the whole interview, but here we are.
No, I think it's a really important question. I only charge the men.
Okay.
And the reason for that is, I mean, severalfold. I'm a woman. I know more women than I do men, certainly like really eligible ones. And I think it's disingenuous to charge both parties, a man and a woman, and throw them together because I have to fill a quota. I think that's why most other matchmakers are not successful. They want to make $1 from both sides. Can't do that.
You're just going to make a lot of money from one side.
You can't work that way because it's not natural. So I have, struggling entrepreneurs, matchmakers who are calling me for advice. And I said, your problem is your business.
You gave them the whole business model right now.
You can try to do what I'm doing. Don't get fooled by the flashing lights and you got to stay true to your business model. It's the only way.
Yeah. Okay. So I asked you, I needed to know. I needed clarity, but I did ask you.
No women, no paying women under any circumstances. But I have colleagues in the industry who do have a different business model than I do. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I trust these matchmakers and they that's what works for them. And I say, I have a referral for you. So it's really nice to have people within the industry who I respect and trust, who I would feel confident to send people who I can't work with over to.
What are you manifesting now? I know I asked you kind of 2 questions.
I think the real thing that I'm manifesting is just better balance between, having 2 babies and work and having time for fun. I would love to travel more and make that a priority with my husband or my friends and just like get out there and do more. What are you manifesting?
Mental health every day, like mental fitness. I get in my mind about pleasing people and being worried about their perspective. And I don't really have time to do that, I've realized. And it's a waste of my time. It's been my greatest Achilles heel in my life. So I'm really feel like I'm pulling myself out of that so that I can do a podcast, so that I can live in the cringe of my creativity.
I love that. And we should all do that.
Be uncomfortable. I think it's important to be uncomfortable. The more uncomfortable I am, the happier I become because I did it.